place. The courtroom lights felt unusually harsh that afternoon, casting long shadows across the polished floor while cameras silently rolled from every angle. Millions of viewers across America were preparing for another dramatic television courtroom episode, expecting arguments, shouting, and entertainment. But nobody watching understood that history was about to unfold live on camera, because this was never supposed to be an ordinary case. And the young man sitting arrogantly at the defendant's table had absolutely no idea his entire life was about to collapse in front of the whole country. Chase Thornton III entered the courtroom 15 minutes late, wearing a smug grin that instantly irritated everyone who saw him. His designer jacket alone cost more than most people's monthly salary. A diamond watch sparkled beneath the lights every time he casually moved his hand, and his spotless white Gucci sneakers rested directly on the courtroom table, like he was sitting inside a private club instead of facing legal proceedings. AirPods remained in his ears, Bon in his hand, Zell respect, Zell concern. The audience immediately began whispering among themselves, because Chase carried himself with the kind of arrogance that only came from a lifetime of escaping consequences. And honestly, he had escaped plenty. Across from him sat Marcus Webb, a nervous 19-year-old college student, clutching a weathered folder tightly against his chest. Marcus looked exhausted. Dark circles sat beneath his eyes from months of sleepless nights, endless bus rides, and non-stop stress. His dress shirt had been ironed carefully that morning, even though it was old and slightly faded. He sat upright, trying desperately to appear confident. But his trembling hands revealed the pressure crushing him inside. Marcus wasn't born into wealth. Everything in his life had been earned through sacrifice. His mother cleaned hospital floors overnight before working daytime shifts as a grocery cashier. His father worked construction during the day, drove rideshare in the evenings, and picked up security shifts whenever possible. Their family survived through exhausting labor and constant worry. And despite all that hardship, Marcus became the first person in his family ever accepted into college. That achievement meant everything to them. His parents believed Marcus represented hope, proof that someone in the family could finally escape poverty. So Marcus studied civil engineering while working brutal weekend valet shifts in Manhattan just to stay enrolled in school. He wasn't chasing luxury cars or expensive vacations. He was fighting for survival. Meanwhile, Chase Thornton III had spent his entire life treating other people's struggles like comedy. Judge Judy studied both young men silently for several moments. Her decades inside courtrooms had taught her how to read people instantly. Marcus carried fear. Chase carried entitlement. And entitlement, in her experience, was far more dangerous, because entitled people often believed morality simply didn't apply to them. Mr. Webb, Judge Judy began calmly. Tell me what happened. Marcus swallowed hard before opening his folder carefully. It happened 4 months ago, he said quietly. I was working valet at Bissimo Restaurant in Manhattan. As Marcus explained the events of that night, Chase barely paid attention. He kept scrolling through his phone lazily while occasionally laughing under his breath whenever Marcus mentioned financial hardship. The disrespect was unbelievable. But Marcus continued speaking because he had no choice. That lawsuit represented his final hope. The night everything changed had started normally enough. Marcus already worked nearly 11 straight hours by the time Chase arrived at the restaurant with his friends. His feet hurt. His back burned from exhaustion, but he still smiled politely and treated every customer professionally because that job helped pay tuition bills and assisted his family with his younger sister's medical expenses. Then 3 exotic supercars pulled into the valet lane, a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, a McLaren. Together, the vehicles were worth more money than Marcus's parents would probably earn in their entire lives. Chase stepped out of the Lamborghini first. Expensive cologne mixed with alcohol surrounded him instantly. He wore sunglasses at night and acted like cameras followed him everywhere. Instead of handing Marcus the keys respectfully, Chase threw them directly into his chest, hard enough to leave bruises on his ribs. When Marcus bent down to pick them up, Chase laughed with his friends. Good dog. The audience inside Judge Judy's courtroom reacted immediately when Marcus repeated those words. Judge Judy's face hardened slightly. Marcus explained how he swallowed the humiliation because he needed the job. Losing his temper with rich customers could get him fired instantly, so he parked the Lamborghini carefully and continued working. Hours later, Chase stumbled back outside drunk and loud with his group of equally intoxicated friends. Marcus retrieved the Lamborghini and handed over the keys professionally. hoping the night could finally end peacefully. Instead, Chase decided he wanted entertainment. He wanted videos for social media. So he climbed into the Lamborghini, revved the engine aggressively, and began performing dangerous donuts in the crowded valet area while his friends screamed and recorded everything on their phones. Marcus described tires screeching violently against pavement, smoke filling the air. Pedestrians jumping backward in fear. Then disaster struck. Chase lost control. The Lamborghini spun sideways and smashed directly into Marcus's parked Honda Civic. Metal exploded. Glass shattered across the street. The impact ripped the driver's side door completely off and bent the frame beyond repair. Marcus paused for several seconds while remembering the moment. "That car was everything to me," he whispered. The courtroom became completely silent. Marcus explained how he stood there frozen while Chase climbed out laughing instead of apologizing. Instead of checking whether anyone got hurt, instead of offering insurance information, instead of acting like a decent human being, Chase started taking selfies beside the wreckage. Then he uploaded the photos online, mocking Marcus publicly. "Oops," crashed into some peasant's rust bucket. The audience reacted with disgust. Marcus continued. "When I asked for insurance information, he laughed and said insurance was for poor people." Judge Judy slowly turned toward Chase. "Did you say that?" Chase shrugged carelessly. "Probably. No remorse. None." Marcus explained that the destroyed Honda Civic represented 4 years of savings. Without it, his life immediately spiraled into chaos. He began taking 3 buses every day to reach school and work. Commutes that once took 30 minutes now required nearly 4 hours daily. His grades collapsed from exhaustion. He constantly arrived late to work. And while all this happened, his younger sister's diabetes treatments continued draining the family financially. The $8,500 he requested in court wasn't greed, it was survival money. Judge Judy listened carefully, while Marcus presented photographs, repair estimates, police reports, screenshots of Chase's social media posts, and witness statements from restaurant employees. Then she finally looked toward Chase. "Mr. Thornton," she said calmly, "did you damage this young man's vehicle?" Chase leaned backward confidently. "That junk car was parked in my way." Gasps spread through the courtroom instantly. Judge Judy remained expressionless. "So your answer is yes?" "I mean, technically, sure," Chase replied, "but honestly, I probably improved his life. Now he can stop driving that piece of garbage." Marcus stared at him in disbelief. Judge Judy folded her hands together slowly. "Have you offered him compensation?" "No." "Why not?" Chase smirked arrogantly. "Because I don't owe him anything." The arrogance pouring from him infected the room like poison. Then things became even worse, as Marcus described struggling to help pay for his younger sister's insulin treatments after losing his car. Chase openly pulled out his phone and started recording him, actually recording him while he spoke emotionally about his family. Judge Judy's tone sharpened immediately. "Put the phone away." Chase barely glanced upward. "It's a free country." That was not a suggestion. Still smirking, Chase lowered the phone halfway, but kept it in his hand. The audience exchanged uncomfortable looks because everyone could feel tension building rapidly. Judge Judy gave him one final warning. "Mr. Thornton, if you continue disrespecting this courtroom, there will be consequences." That sentence made Chase laugh openly. "Consequences?" He leaned forward arrogantly. "Do you know who my father is?" The room fell silent. Marcus stopped moving completely. Judge Judy stared directly into Chase's eyes. "Yes," she answered calmly. "I know exactly who your father is." But Chase misunderstood her calmness. He thought it meant weakness. That mistake would destroy him forever. Because Chase Thornton III spent his entire life escaping punishment through money and political influence. At 18, he nearly killed a mother and her children while driving drunk at 90 miles per hour. Charges disappeared. At 19, police discovered cocaine distribution evidence inside his university dorm room. Case vanished. At 20, he beat a bartender so severely the victim required reconstructive facial surgery. Dismissed. At 21, he crashed his Lamborghini into a police cruiser while live streaming himself drunk online. Reduced charges. At 22, investigators suspected him of insider trading connected to his father's political office. Investigation mysteriously ended. Every escape made him worse, more reckless, more cruel, more convinced he truly existed above the law. And his father enabled everything. Senator Robert Thornton spent millions protecting his son instead of stopping him. Victims received settlement money. Witnesses got pressured into silence. Lawyers buried scandals repeatedly. The senator cared more about protecting hhis political career than teaching his son accountability. Now both men stood on the edge of destruction. Judge Judy leaned slightly forward. Mr. Thornton, she asked carefully, do you understand you are currently under oath? Chase rolled his eyes dramatically. This isn't even real court. The audience shifted nervously. Judge Judy remained silent. That silence encouraged him further. You're just some TV judge pretending to matter. Still silence. Then Chase smiled wider than ever before. My father makes more money in a week than you've made your whole career. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Then Chase delivered the sentence that sealed his fate forever. You can't touch me. Nobody can. Silence swallowed the courtroom whole. Judge Judy slowly reached toward the sealed manila envelope sitting beside her bench. For the first time all afternoon, Chase looked uncertain, just slightly. Judge Judy opened the envelope carefully and removed several official documents. When she looked back up, her expression had completely changed. No television personality. No entertainment judge. Only cold authority. Mr. Thornton, she said slowly, you are correct that this program operates through arbitration. Chase smirked again confidently. Then Judge Judy continued. However, threatening and mocking a federal officer during an active federal investigation is a criminal offense. The smile disappeared instantly. What? Judge Judy began reading directly from the documents. Federal wire fraud, tax evasion, witness intimidation. Interstate commerce violations, financial crimes involving millions of dollars. Every sentence hit Chase harder than the last. The courtroom erupted into whispers. Marcus looked stunned, completely stunned. Judge Judy explained that federal investigators spent months building a massive criminal case against Chase Thornton III, involving fraudulent cryptocurrency schemes, unpaid taxes, illegal financial operations, and witness tampering. The sealed envelope contained evidence powerful enough to destroy him permanently. Chase's face turned pale. This isn't real, he whispered weakly. Judge Judy never blinked. Your father is currently watching this live from Washington. That sentence shattered him completely. Panic exploded across his face. He grabbed his phone desperately with shaking hands. Judge Judy's voice became ice cold. Put the phone down immediately. You set me up, Chase shouted. Judge Judy remained perfectly calm. No, Mr. Thornton, she replied. You destroyed yourself. I simply allowed the truth to catch up with you. Then she nodded once toward the back of the courtroom. The man Chase believed was a television bailiff suddenly stepped forward. Except he wasn't a television bailiff. He was a United States Marshal. At the same exact moment, 4 FBI agents rose from different sections of the audience and surrounded Chase instantly. The courtroom exploded. Panic consumed Chase completely now. No, wait! The marshal grabbed his arms firmly. Chase Thornton III, he announced clearly. You are under arrest for federal wire fraud, tax evasion, witness tampering, and contempt against a federal officer. The handcuffs clicked around Chase's wrists. The sound echoed through the courtroom like thunder. Less than 60 seconds earlier, he sat there laughing. Now he screamed while federal agents dragged him toward the exit. Call my father. You can't do this. My lawyers will destroy all of you. The cameras captured everything, every second. Every scream, every ounce of panic. Then Chase shouted the sentence arrogant people always scream after power disappears. Do you know who my father is? Judge Judy answered calmly without emotion. Yes. She paused briefly. And tomorrow he'll be remembered as the father of a convicted felon. The courtroom erupted again. Within minutes, clips of the arrest exploded across social media worldwide. Millions watched Chase Thornton's downfall repeatedly. News channels interrupted regular programming. Hashtags spread globally. People celebrated seeing a wealthy bully finally face consequences after years of escaping accountability. Then investigative reporters released devastating reports exposing how Senator Thornton spent years and millions of dollars covering up his son's crimes. Public outrage became unstoppable. Political allies abandoned him immediately. Calls for resignation came from both parties within hours. 3 days later, Senator Robert Thornton resigned in disgrace. Federal corruption investigations followed immediately afterward. His marriage collapsed shortly after. Family assets became frozen under investigation. The powerful empire that protected Chase for years imploded almost overnight. Meanwhile, Marcus Webb's life transformed completely. People across America saw his struggle and rallied behind him. Donations flooded in from strangers inspired by his resilience. Scholarships arrived from universities. Engineering firms offered internships and future employment opportunities. For the first time in years, Marcus finally felt hope instead of fear. And Chase Thornton III, the man who mocked poor people online, the man who laughed at victims, the man who bragged about being untouchable, faced federal trial only months later. The evidence proved overwhelming. Financial records, witness testimony, recorded threats, video footage, and worst of all, his own words. The jury convicted him on every major count. 18 years inside federal prison, no parole, no special treatment, no wealthy father powerful enough to save him anymore. The footage of his arrest became one of the most watched courtroom clips in television history. Law schools studied the case. News analysts discussed it for months because deep down, millions of people recognized why the story mattered. It wasn't just about one spoiled, rich criminal finally going to prison. It symbolized something much bigger, a reminder that arrogance eventually destroys itself, a reminder that power always has limits, and a reminder that no amount of money, privilege, political influence, or family status can protect someone forever once justice finally arrives. Somewhere tonight, Marcus Webb sleeps peacefully knowing his future survived. And somewhere behind cold steel prison doors, Chase Thornton III finally learned the lesson nobody ever taught him growing up. No one is untouchable.